How are you, students? I hope all, all of you will be fine at your homes and you'll be enjoying online study. Students, I explained part 6 of the lesson Evans tries and O level. And in that part, I was telling you after having fish and chips and after a gentle walk, Evans was returning to the hotel Golden Lion in Chipping Norton. While he was moving towards the hotel, he was lost in thoughts and he was thinking about his close cropped hair. Now I am going to explain 7th part of the lesson. A bit of bad luck that when Jackson had pinched his scissors, for it had been a long and tricky operation with his only razor blade the previous night. He was thinking that it was his bad luck when Stephens, the prison officers, had taken away his scissors from him. That is why he had to cut his hair with his razor blade the previous night. But he had his good luck too. Just think if Jackson had made him take his bobbled head off, phew, that really had been a close call. Still, old Jackson was not such a bad fellow. And he was also thinking that it was his good luck too. It was his good luck too because Jackson allowed him to put his woolen hat on his head even during the examination. If Jackson had taken away his woolen hat, then he would be caught and his plan would be failed. Then Ivan's plan would be failed because when he cut his long and wavy hair with his razor blade in the hairstyle of McLaren, and if he had not hide those hair under his woolen hat, then Jackson and other prison officers would question him why he had cut his hair and how he managed to cut his hair because his scissors, nail file, everything had been taken away from him. And if he was investigated, then he would be caught and his plan would be failed. That is why he was thinking that Jackson was not a bad fellow. One of the worst things funny really had been the beard. He had always been allergic to sticking plaster and even now his chin was irritatingly sore and red. He was also thinking that one of the worst things which was happened was funny. Really funny it was because he had to stick a false beard with the help of sticking material on his chin, and he had always an allergy to sticking plaster to sticking plaster on his skin. That is why when he used sticking plaster for fixing his false beard, for sticking his false beard on his chin, then when he removed his false beard from his chin, then his chin became reddened, and because of that plaster, his chin, he was feeling pain on his chin. The receptionist was not the same girl who had booked him in, but the change was definitely for the better. After that, after thinking about all the things, he reached the reception of his hotel Golden Lion where he stayed. When he reached the reception, then he saw that there was another receptionist in the reception desk, and the girl, the receptionist, the girl who had booked his room for him, that girl was not there. That girl was not there. That girl, that receptionist who had booked a room for him was not there. And in place of that receptionist, there was another receptionist was there. That is why Evans was thinking it would be better for him, because if the same receptionist would be there, then she could recognize him. She could spot him. That is why he was thinking that change was definitely better for him. As he collected his key, he gave her his best smile. And as he collected his key and he took key from her, he smiled at her and told her he would not be bothering with breakfast, ordered the Delhi Express and asked for an early morning call at 6:45 am. Tomorrow was going to be another busy day. And after taking key from that new receptionist, Evans instructed her not to send breakfast in his room the following morning. And he also instructed her to send Delhi Express after waking him up at 6:45 am in the following morning, because it would be the another busy day for him. He whistled softly to himself as he walked up the broad stairs. He had sort of liked the idea of being dressed up as a minister, dog collar and everything. After taking key from the receptionist, after giving instruction to her, he moved towards his room. His room was upstairs, that is why he started ascending the stairs. While he was ascending the stairs, he was whistling, and he was again lost in thought. He was thinking that he liked to wear the minister's dress, liked to wear a parson's dress, dog collar, clerical front, everything he had, which he was wearing that time, he liked that dress. Yes, it had been a jolly good idea for McClary to wear two black fronts, two collars, He was further thinking it was a very good idea for McClary to wear two black fronts, two collars. Students, I already told you while telling summary and during explanation also that McClary, when reached Oxford prison, that time he was wearing two dresses, two overcoat, two clerical front, two coat collar, two stud, two hats. Because he had to leave one dress for Evans, that is why he was wearing two dresses. That Evans was thinking that it was a good idea for Stuart McClary, or impersonating Stuart McClary. He was Evans' friend already, I told you, to wear two black fronts, two collars, but that top collar sleeve it had kept on dripping off the back stud, and there had been that one panicky moment when McClary had only just got his hand up to his neck in time to stop the collars springing apart from before Stephens. And Evans was thinking that the top collar which McClary was wearing two top collars, and McClary was wearing that top, and the top collar which McClary was wearing was going to be slipped before in front of Stephens. That is why he put his finger on that top collar to make it stop from falling down. If he had not done so, then he would be recognized that he was not Stuart McClary, he was Evans' friend. And they had got their little problem worked out all right, though a pen stick in the mouth whenever the evil eye had appeared at the peephole. Evans was thinking that there's a part of plan that Evans had to sit by putting the nib of his pen between his lips in order to show Stephens, who was looking at the interval of every minute through the peephole, to show him that Evans was thinking about the answers of the questions, so that Stephens could not express any doubt on him. Though a pen stick of evil eye had appeared, but all that fiddling about under the blanket with the black front and the stud at the back of the collar, that had been far more difficult than they had ever been bargained for. Evans was thinking that it was the annoying moment, fiddling, for him, when he had to wear his black front and the stud at the back of the collar under the blanket, because it was not settled, it was not a part of the plan that Evans had to wear black front and collar under the blanket. Students, Evans requested McClary, or impersonating McClary, to allow him to put his blanket on him. You know, he told him that he was feeling cold, that is why he needed blanket, but actually he wanted to wear black front and coat collar under the blanket. That is why he was requesting McClary to allow him to put the blanket, because he knew very well he could not wear that black pant and coat collar without covering himself with a blanket, because Stephens was observing his activities at the interval of 1 minute. That is why he requested it. And he also told that it was not a part of the plan. That is why it was very annoying moment for him. He was feeling difficulty to wear black pant and coat collar under the blanket. Everything else had gone beautifully, smoothly. And Evans was thinking, except that everything, his plan was being executed smoothly. Though in the car he had found everything they had promised him: soap and water, cloths, the map, yes, the map of course, the ordnance survey map of Oxfordshire. And Evans was thinking that his men provided him soap, water, and cloths, and ordnance survey map in the car. With the help of soap and water, he washed his face and he changed his cloth also after removing the blood-stained McClary's dress. And with the help of the ordnance survey map, he got success in finding the hotel where he had to stay that night. Ordnance survey map. Student, ordnance survey map is the map in which location of the places are described in coding language. He had got some good friends, some very clever friends, Kaishta, and he was thinking that he had good friends, he had very clever friends. That is why he got success in escaping from there. That is why his plan was executed smoothly. After thinking about all these things, he reached in front of his room. After that, he unlocked his room door and entered it, and after that, he quietly closed that door. And when he turned, after closing the door of his room, he turned back. When he turned back, then he saw that governor was sitting on his bed. When he saw that, then he was surprised, he was shocked, and stood motionless. And he was shocked as if he saw a witch. If he saw a witch. Sitting on the narrow bed was the very last man in the world that Evans had expected or wanted to see. It is not worth trying anything, said the governor quietly as Evans' eyes darted desperately around the room. When governor saw that Evans stood motionless after looking at him, and he was looking around the room, then governor told him that he should not try to escape from there again. I have got men all around the place. And he further told Evans that he had appointed his men around the Chipping Norton, and he could not escape from there. There were only two really, but Evans need not know that. Evans thought that there were only two men, which governor had. They were Stephens and Jackson, but Evans did not say anything. He did not know about governors, he did not ask whom he had appointed. He let the words sink in. Woman, too, did not you think the blonde girl in the reception was rather sweet? Then governor further told Evans that he had also appointed women to observe him, and he asked Evans if he had not seen the new receptionist sitting in the receptionist of the hotel. She was very beautiful and very polite to him. She was also appointed by the governor, by him. Evans was visibly shaken. He sat down slowly in the only chair the small bedroom could offer and held his head between his hands. After knowing that, Evans was completely disturbed, visibly shaken, and in his disappointment, hopelessness, he sat down on the chair by holding his head with his hands. For several minutes there was utter silence. For several minutes nobody spoke in the room, neither governor nor Evans. Finally he spoke. It was that bloody correction slip, I suppose. After that, when Evans relaxed, then he told governor that he was thinking that because of that correction slip, governor got success in reaching his hotel. Well, the governor failed to mask the deep satisfaction in his voice. Governor told him, agreed with Evans that yes, he was saying right. Governor was failed to hide, to mask his deep satisfaction. That is why he told him, yes, whatever he was saying, it was right. Because of the correction slip, he got success in reaching there. There are a few people who know a little German, and he further told Evans that there are few people in Carafax who knew German language. So he wanted to say, governor wanted to say that he knew German language, governor knew German language, that is why he translated German text into English language, and because of that he got success in finding the name of the hotel, detecting the name of the hotel where Evans had stayed. That is why he reached there. And slowly, very slowly, Evans relaxed. Then Evans relaxed, he was beaten and he knew it. He knew very well that he was defeated by the governor. He sat up at last and managed to smile ruefully. After that, he smiled miserably. You know, it was not really a mistake. You see, we had not been able to fix up any hotel, but we could have worked that some other way. After that, Evans told governor that leaving the question paper in the cell was not really a mistake. You see, and he further told governor that his men had not been able to fix up any hotel where Evans had to stay after escaping from the prison. Okay, no, the really important thing was for the phone to ring just before the exam finished. Evans told governor that the important thing was the phone to ring. What was the important thing? That phone rang, phone of the Oxford prison rang just before the examination finished to get everyone out of the way for a couple of minutes. Why phone rang? Phone of the Oxfordshire rang just before few minutes after finishing the examination to get everyone out of the way for a couple of minutes, to get everyone confused for a couple of minutes. That is why his men dialed a number of Oxfordshire before 3 minutes before the finishing of the examination, and instructed Stephens to see McCleary off the main prison gate. So we had to know exactly when the exam started, did not we? And like a fool, I presented you with that little piece of information on a plate. And Evans told that, like a foolish person, he left the correction slip in the cell. Well, somebody did. Students, Evans had another plan. He was only pretending to say that. He wanted that governor would reach his hotel, and after that he would escape away from there. He had a plan. If governor would have spotted him in the hotel, then after that another plan was there from escaping. That is why he was talking to the governor like that. He was trying to make governor understand that he was trapped again, and there was no chance for his escape from there, and he would be sent to the prison again. But he had another plan for escape from that hotel. That is why he told governor that he presented the left correction slip in the cell. Well, somebody did. So you see, sir, that correction slip killed 2 little birds with a single stone. The name of the hotel for me and the exact time the exam started for. And further he told governor that the correction slip solved 2 problems. It killed 2 little birds with a single stone. The name of the hotel for me. Because of the correction slip, Evans got success in knowing the name of his hotel where he had to stay and the exact time the exam started. Because of the correction slip. Because 9:25 examination was started. Examination had to be finished at 11:25. That is why one saying that correction slip solved 2 problems at a time. The governor nodded. It is a pretty common word. Good job. It is pretty common, sir. Or I would never have known where to come to, would I? Good job. Then Evans appreciated governors and that it was a good job for him. That is why, because if governor had not done so, then he would never have known where to come to, would I? Where he had to come. Means Evans was saying governor attended the call, call that time, and the correction was made in the question paper, and because of that Evans was able to know the exact name of the hotel where he had to stay. If governor had not allowed to receive the call by Stuart McClary, then Evans could not escape from there. Nice name, though some golden lion. When I told this nice name of the hotel, some golden lion, how did you know which golden lion it was? There is hundreds of them. Then Evans asked governor how he came to know which golden lion, at which golden lion he stayed, because there were hundreds of golden lion in Oxfordshire. Same as you, Evans index number 313. Governor told Sam as Evans came to know about the hotel where he had to stay. With the help of the index number 313, center number 271, remember 6 figure. There are 6 figures, 6 numbers are there, 313, 271. And if you 313 3 figure, 271 3 figure, then total 6 figures. And if you take an ordnance survey map of Oxfordshire, and if you see the ordnance survey map of Oxfordshire, then you find that 6 figure reference 313 oblique 271 lands you. When a person look on the ordnance survey map, then it was written 313 oblique 271, and which that figure locates the place just middle of Chipping Norton. That is why that Golden Lion Hotel where Evans had to stay, it would be in the middle of Chipping Norton. Because of that, governor reached there. Yeah, you are right. Oh, we had hoped Chipping Norton. Yes, you are right. Oh, we had hoped you would run off to Newbury. Evans told governor that his men hoped, or he hoped, that governor would move towards Newbury, would never reach to the Chipping Norton. We did. Governor told that. We did. They were moving towards Newbury. Well, that is something, I suppose. That question paper, Evans, could you really understand all that German? I could hardly. And governor asked Evans that if he knew the German language very well, and he further told Evans that he knew a little German. Even after that, he got success in translating German text into English language. Now, of course, I could not. I knew roughly what it was all about, but we just hoped it would throw a few spanners in the works. Evans told that he did not know German language properly, he knew only roughly, and he further told governor that his men and he just hoped that it would be helpful whatever he knew, whatever knowledge he had about German language. Because of that knowledge, their problems would be solved, their plans would be executed. You know, sort of muddle everybody a bit. And Evans told governor that he knew very well that everybody was confused easily with the German text. The governor stood up. Tell me one thing before we go. How on earth did you get all that blood to pour over your head? After that, governor stood up and asked Evans to tell one thing before their departure from there, from where he got blood to pour over his head. Ivan suddenly looked a little happier when governor asked this question from where he got the blood which he poured over his head on his head. Then Ivan suddenly, after listening this question of governor, Ivan suddenly looked happier. Clever, sir, very clever that was. How to get a couple of pints of blood into cell? Ivan told that it was a very clever plan to manage to bring couple of pints of blood into the cell. When there is none there to start off with, and whenever and when the invigilator, shall we say, gets searched before he comes in, and governor told that invigilator was searched when he entered the cell, and even after that they got success in keeping the blood in the cell. Shall we say gets searched before coming? Yes, sir. You can well ask about that, and I do not know if ought to tell you. After all, I might want to use that particular anything to do with a little rubber ring for the piles, perhaps. He once told that he was going to tell you how he managed to bring the blood in the cell. He told that a rubber ring. Blood was brought in the rubber ring, semi-inflated rubber ring, which McClary brought with him. And when Stephens asked him why he had brought the rubber ring, and he told him that he was suffering from piles, that is why whenever he felt pain, he would sit on it. Evans grinned feebly. Clever though was not it, and he asked governor if it was not a good plan. It was not very clever plan. Must have been a tricky job sticking a couple of pins. Nah, you have got it wrong, sir. And governor told that it must have been a very clever, crafty job to stick a couple of pins of blood. Nah, you have got it wrong, sir. No problem about that. Evans told that whatever governor was saying, it was wrong. It was not a tricky job to bring couple of pint of blood, drop of blood. And he further told governor that it is clotting, you see. Told governor that it was a clotting. Blood was brought in form of clotting. That is the big trouble. We got the blood easily enough, pig's blood. And Evans told governor that his men brought the pig's blood in the cell. And it was from the slaughter's house in the Kidlington, and they brought that pig's blood from the slaughterhouse in the Kidlington. Kidlington is a place in Oxfordshire. But to stop it clotting, you have got to mix your actual blood. And he was told that to stop clotting of the blood. Clotting means dried blood. Blood which is dried, then it is known as clotting. And he was told that to stop it clotting, one should mix his own blood, actual human blood, to stop clotting. Evans took a breath after that with a 1/10 of its own volume of 3.8% trisodium nitrate. Did you know? Did you, sir? Evans told that 1/10 part of own volume of 3.8% trisodium citrate means in that pint of blood 3.8% trisodium nitrate would have to mix in that pint. That is why that clotting was, was changed into the fluid. The governor shook his head in a token of reluctant admiration. After listening Ivan's word that he managed to get pig's blood from the slaughterhouse, and when it was dried, it became converted into the clot. Then his men mixed trisodium nitrate to again convert it into fluid. Then governor shook his head, agreed with him unwillingly. Mr. He admired that activity of advancement unwillingly. We learn something new every day, they tell me, come on, my lad. And after that, he told Evans that every day something new would be learned. Means that day he learned that the clotting would be converted into fluid by mixing. Clotting of blood would be converted into fluid by mixing trisodium nitrate. That was new thing for the governor. That is why governor told him that every day something new would be learned. And after that he instructed Evans to follow him to the prison. Evans made no show of resistance. When governor instructed him to follow him to the prison, then Evans did not oppose him. He obeyed him. And side by side, the two men walked slowly down the stairs. After that, governor descended the stairs along with Evans. Tell me, Evans, how did you manage to plan all this business? You have had no visitors. Then governor asked Evans to tell him how he managed to execute the plan. Because he had no visitors, nobody reached his cell to visit him. I have sent to that you have had no letters, and no letters would be received by him in the cell. I have got a lots of friends enough. And Evans told that he had lot of friends outside. What is that supposed to mean? Then governor asked what he wanted to say. He had lot of friends. Me German teacher for a start. Evans told governor that his German teacher was his friend. He was not a German teacher, but he was actually his friend who used to reach his cell daily. And with his help, he laid the plan of escape. You mean, but he was from technical college? Governor told that according to him, the German teacher who used to reach Evans' cell to teach him, he belonged to the technical college. How he could be Evans' friend? Was he? Evans was almost enjoying it now. Ever check up on him, sir? Then Evans asked governor if he had ever checked him to know the reality. If that German teacher belonged to technical college, or he was Evans' friend who was involved in plan of escape. God Almighty, there is far more going on them than I. Then governor was shocked, surprised, and told Evans that really he was very clever, his men were very clever, he knew everything more than he knew, governor knew. Always will be sir. Then Evans told that he would always be clever like that. He would always be clever like that. Everything ready. Asked the governor as they stood by the reception desk. As the governor stood by the reception desk, he asked the receptionist if everything was ready. The went out the front, sir. Then receptionist told the governor that van is there just in front of the reception hotel. Evans winked at her. When that girl, receptionist told governor that there was a van was parked just in front of the hotel. Then that girl winked. Then Evans winked at her. Blinked. Evans blinked his eyelids at her, and she winked back at him. It almost made his day. Now, students, I think I've explained too much. Last part of the lesson I will explain tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day.